following is a presentation of William Patterson University Television.
Welcome back to the desk. I'm joined now by Danny, Kelly, Pat, and Justin to break down the big picture news as the NFL approaches in playoffs. Before we get into playoff news, however, big news out of New York this week. Danny, break it down for us.
Yeah, big news out of New York this week. Eli Manning is getting benched for Geno Smith. And if you take a look here at Eli's numbers as they, hold up in Giants history, this is the best quarterback they've ever had, and it's not even close. I mean, Super Bowl MVP twice, 40 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter. If you're looking to the left of this graphic here and you think, oh, they made a mistake, there's random tick marks on it. Those aren't tick marks. That's a 1. He is the number 1 quarterback in Giants history in all of those categories. I don't care what's happening this season. You can't disrespect your franchise by benching this guy. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Now, the way I look at it is that you got to rip the Band-Aid off eventually. You have to move on eventually because he's shown some issues. But did you think they handled it the right way?
No. I mean, if they were to bench him for their rookie that they drafted, that'd be one thing. Because you got to see what you got. You got to, take games that don't matter, and that's how you mold this new young talent. But they're putting in Geno Smith. What's the best case scenario here? You lose with Geno instead of losing with Eli?
Yeah, you have Geno come in. He's looked terrible in the Jets. He's not a leader. He's just not mature at all. No, it's the way they asked Eli. They asked him, hey, we know you have that consecutive game streak.
That too. I didn't mention that.
So you want to just play a half, and we'll take you out and put Geno or Davis in? That's a smack in the face to the guy. I'm glad Eli was like, no, just bench me at that point. Why? He's a class act, but hey, I'm a Bronco fan. We need a quarterback. Eli, come on over, my man. Come on over to Denver. I'll take you. Win another Super Bowl, just like your brother did. We'll take you over here in Denver.
Yeah, but a lot of people say that the Giants are the class organization of the NFL, that they're the model franchise of how it runs. Clearly now, they're just like every other team where once you served your purpose, they give you a slap to the face and a boot out the door. His days are numbered. The fact that they're benching for Geno Smith, who we all know what he's done, and what's even more of an insult to Eli, they're keeping his number 2. So if Geno goes out and throws 3-4 picks and they put him in relief, that's even more of a slap to the face to Eli that I don't know. It's horrible.
Yeah, if they ask him to come off the bench, that would just be crazy. If I'm him, I'm handing him my helmet and I'm going back. And I'm hitting the showers early if they ask me to come in and relief.
But an insult to the fans is that they're doing this away in Oakland, and Eli hasn't had a home game in 2 weeks. And the fact that they're doing it away, they're not even let the Giants fans say goodbye to Eli if they decide to move on.
It's just bad all around. It's bad. This is a bad look for the franchise.
Well, I think the mass hysteria with Giants fans needs to stop. You're 2-9 for the season. Your receiving core is battered. At some point, I think they're going to have to start thinking about who's the next man up. Eli Manning, let's face it, he's not going to be around forever. If not now, when is a good time to audition somebody for the next, for the next season? And let's face it, Eli Manning, his play has become predictable. Defenses know what to expect. I mean, it's time maybe to kind of think about which direction do you want to move in the future.
Yeah, but are Jerry Reese and Ben McHugh really the two you want evaluating future talent in Davis Webb or even Geno Smith when they might not even be there next year? So why is their input on quarterback play for next season even playing a factor this year?
I have my own issues with Ben McHugh. Don't forget I'm a Packers fan, so I'm not going to get on that whole bandwagon right now. But I mean, it's a losing season. They're not going to win. They have no playoff chance here. Let's move on,
It's a fair point.
All right, now moving on. Playoffs are just about a month away, and a lot of teams have planted their flags already. But there's still a few teams that have a shot. So let's take a look at the teams that are still remaining in the hunt. Looking at the AFC, you have the Buffalo Bills sitting at 6-5. You have 3 teams in the AFC at 5-6 between the Bengals, the Chargers, and the Raiders. And at the bottom, at the AFC in the hunt, is the New York Jets at 4-7. We switch conferences. The Seattle Seahawks are sitting at 7-4. You have the Detroit Lions at 6-5. The Packers at 5-6, with Aaron Rodgers maybe coming back soon. The Dallas Cowboys at 6-6, and the Redskins at 5-7. Now let's take a look at these in the hunt teams. Who do you think comes out in the playoffs?
Frankly, I think the teams that already nobody has officially mathematically clinched a playoff spot yet, but there's teams that we know they're going to be there. And as far as like the wild card teams go, I think those teams are all just too good for any of these teams to sneak in. If any team can do it, and if you've been watching the show, it's no secret I'm a Rams fan, but I must admit it. If any team can get it done out of these, it's Seattle. Seattle always has a chance as long as they have Russell Wilson making plays. Jimmy Graham's been on fire. Cam Chancellor or not, that defense is still great. So if any of those teams can do it, it would have to be Seattle for me.
But the Seahawks have to beat some of the NFL's best teams in their upcoming games.
That's true, absolutely.
I mean,
The schedule is very tough.
It is.
But that's why Detroit Their schedule is a cakewalk. If they can get by the Ravens this week, the Ravens are a tough team. They're going to Baltimore. Matt Stafford isn't as great on the road as he is home. They have the Bears. They have the Bucks. They have the Packers. Hopefully without Aaron Rodgers, there's some winnable games there for Detroit.
But how are the Lions going to win games without being able to run the football? Amir Abdullah, yeah, he's great, but he tries to do too much. Instead of just going to the outside, he tries to make a few moves in the backfield and then go. He's not the consistent running back they need. And also, aside from Darius Slay and Glover Quinn, who in that defense can help stop many of those teams?
No, there's not. But it's like the same argument for Seattle.
Yeah, they don't have
they're missing.
Richard
They're missing a
Sherman.
lot of people. They're missing Sherman. They're missing Chancellor. Their offense line is dreadful.
Yeah,
That's why.
They have a revolving door at left tackle.
They need the Falcons to cool off, and the Lions. They have a cakewalk. The Bears are terrible. The Packers look terrible as well. If they don't get Aaron Rodgers, it's a cakewalk. I'm telling you. And the Bucks are absolutely horrendous.
Now, last Sunday, chaos unfolded in Oakland. Danny, why don't you take us through that?
Yeah, if you want to take a look here, we had an ugly fight in Oakland. If you remember last year, Crabtree and Talib went at it, and there he goes, his best Debo impression. He snatched Crabtree's chain from him again, which I have to imagine hurts like crazy getting a chain snatched off your neck. And then it gets ugly. I mean, we see pushing and shoving every week, but this is just egregious here. I mean, Crabtree even taped his chain to his chest because Talib snatched his chain last year, but it didn't matter. Both players were suspended for 2 games. They both appealed, and it has since been reduced to 1. Frankly, I was surprised by that call. Oh, they're both ejected as well, worth mentioning. So in total, the 1-game suspension really does have them missing 2 games because they only played 3 minutes here. But I really am surprised they dropped this from 2 games to 1. I thought the NFL was really going to try to set a precedent and kind of make an example of these guys just to say with confidence, like, we will not tolerate this. But they're only missing 1 game. Here you see Marshawn Lynch taking him back, escorting him safely through the Oakland bench. But this was ugly. I mean, you're a Broncos fan. You got to have some strong feelings
I'm
here.
all for it, man. I can't stand
All for it?
Crabtree.
What are you all for it?
Crabtree is so,
There's no place for that in football.
The play before that, Crabtree went up and sucker punched Chris Harris in the gut.
I did see that. I didn't see that until that didn't come out
a
right
couple
away.
days, yeah.
But
because
I
I
did see
was
that.
obviously watching the game, which was miserable. But you see Chris Harris start pointing the bench and calling out Crabtree. So you know how Talib is. You don't mess with that whole no-fly zone. So Talib took it upon himself, ripped that chain off again, started going to blows. And Talib is a smart one, kept his helmet on. Talib ain't stupid.
Yeah, why are wide receivers punching helmets? Your life is your hands.
That is your career. But also, you talk about like the NFL setting a precedent for punishment. How is that fight different from the Jalen Ramsey, AJ Green, where neither of them got suspended? And the fact that
that was bench clearing, man.
yeah,
that was worse.
But
that was worse.
Football's supposed to be a team sport, and this isn't playing for your team.
But it's also supposed to be about athleticism. And I mean, does the NFL really want this kind of liability? These are grown men. And I mean, this ends up just becoming like dramatic fodder for the fans. It's not about athleticism anymore. I mean, we play to win. It's a violent game. And I think they've got enough of an outlet to blow up steam.
And Talib beats him up.
Yeah, no doubt. There's one thing I'll never get, but unfortunately, that's all the time we have for the NFL. But do not go anywhere. We still have some NBA action to catch up on.